everyone. So in today's video, we are talking about unique beauty products. I feel like with so much makeup out there, things can just get a bit repetitive. And I really am always on the lookout for the makeup items that are doing something different, that feel innovative, or that are just having fun with it, doing something unique. A lot of these items are just really like nothing I have in my collection. It's about time we do another one of these videos. So this is from the brand Give. I haven't tried a lot from Give. This is their Dewy Plump Collagen Lip Gel. Now, when I hear lip gel, I think, that seems like it might be a little bit of a different formula. You know, let's give it a go. I picked up mine in the shade Marigolds. This is a very interesting, unique formula. Is it gel-like? I don't know about that. However, the texture itself is incredibly thick and enveloping. Like, this might be one of the most thick lip products I have. It goes onto the lips in a very glassy, glossy way, but it does sink down into the lips. You're not gonna be left with like a really gloopy, thick lip color. What I have found really beautiful about it is that it leaves this insanely gorgeous like water droplet effect look on the lips. I was showing you guys in my stories the other day, like there was not a single line that you could see in my lips. It was kind of insane. It's obviously not going to last like that for the entire time you're wearing it. But what I really like about it as I continue to wear it is that I'm left with just this like really soft coral flush to my lips. And this sinks into the lips and leaves like a very comfortable feel. There are a lot of lip glosses that don't do that. They kind of leave behind this kind of sticky residue. This has this really insane plushy formula that settles down to almost like a balm feel. Very, very, very interesting. And also the pigment is a little bit more milky in a way that I just wasn't expecting to really love. But in this shade in particular, I think it works really well. If you really love that uber glossy, intense glassy effect, I do think that this lip gel is doing something different. Moving on to another product with, I think, a very interesting formulation and texture. This is from Espresso. It is their Sol Mio. And this is their cream bronzer, but it's essentially like a paste. I was immediately intrigued when I saw this. I just didn't know really what to expect. I have mine in the shade 8 AM, and it is what is on my skin today. Everything that's on my skin, I think I'm talking about. But what I found to be really interesting about it is it has this very kind of creamy whipped texture, but when it applies onto the skin, it's very, very smooth. It never looks choppy, and it's very buildable. So a little bit does go a long way. You could certainly keep building this up for a more intense look. But you know, in a time with a lot of cream bronzers, usually in like a pan or a pot, going back to like the one from Chanel, up through now, you know, there are so many different like stick bronzers out there, powder bronzers. This kind of creamy formula in the tube, I actually think can be utilized in more ways than your traditional stick bronzer or cream bronzer in a pan. One, you can use this to mix into foundations to get a better shade match. The texture is already like melted down, so you don't really need to spend a lot of time warming the product up on the skin. You know how like a lot of people recommend taking your stick bronzer on the back of your hand and then applying it onto the cheeks. You don't really need to do much warming up because the product has already been kind of whipped. I think it's very unique, and I know that they also have cream blushes within this formula, I believe, so I'd be interested in also trying those. But in particular, I think that this bronzer would be something that someone could get a lot of use out of, whether you're mixing it into a foundation, putting it on top. I think that they've done something special. Now let's talk about cheek stains. First, starting off with the Milk makeup, and then I'm going to talk about a possible alternative to the Milk makeup. So I feel like for this updated unique product video, like I had to go ahead and talk about the Milk Makeup Cooling Water Jelly Tint. It is a very unique item. You know, whether or not you think it is kitschy, I mean, it is kitschy, or if you think it's gimmicky, ultimately, if you take a brush and use the brush from the jelly and then onto the cheeks, it just provides this really pretty stained effect. They packed a lot of pigment into this little jelly. And what also I think is nice about this format versus some other lip stain formats is that oftentimes you have to get your fingers stained in order to use the product as a lip stain. This one, you don't. You can just apply it right to the lips. It's cooling and it does feel like comforting on the lips. I personally find the product to be just really fun to apply. But Pixie Sheer Cheek Gel, I hope that in the future brands come out with more translucent gel items because these are so underrated. This texture is more of like, again, it's like a water-based gel. It goes onto the skin in this very cooling way, similar to the Milk Makeup. I'm wearing it on this side of my cheek, by the way. It is more sheer than the Milk Makeup. You have to build this up. But with that, this actually blends out more quickly. It's just a little bit easier to work with. Because it's so thin, it really looks like it's radiating from the skin. You know, I love blushes and cheek stains for that reason. When the formula is done right, it really does look like a true blushing effect. And this one definitely captures that. You can also use it on the lips as well. This is the shade Flushed, by the way, and it looks a lot deeper in the tube, but it goes out to this really pretty pink shade. As a whole, I think both are very unique. I would say for longevity, if you're just concerned with longevity, I would go with the Milk Makeup. But if you're concerned with ease of use, I would go with the Pixie. And that's not to say that the Pixie doesn't last long, because it does. But the Milk Makeup lasts a little bit longer just because of the pigmentation style. Like this has a lot of pigment. Yeah, I just love gel formulas, the way they just melt right into the skin. And this one is definitely no different. More gel formulations. I want to see more gel formulations from brands. Now let's go ahead and talk about what is on my eyes. It is the Handbag palette from Rabanne, and this is in Unnatural World. Now I do want to first start off with something like this shattered and I had to like repress it, so that is a downside to this. However, with so many eyeshadow palettes and eyeshadow formulas coming out, they really do feel all the same. This brand, I feel like no one's talking about them. They're doing something different. The textures have this like creamy unctuousness to them, but they're powders. And again, it's not like a baked formula. It truly has this very smoothing feel in the finger. And when they go onto the skin, they have that smoothing appearance. There are a lot of powders that almost mattify the skin on the eye. So if you have dry eyelids like I do, those can make the eyes look crepey or more dry. These do a beautiful job of offering this life. It like makes the quality of your eyelids look better, which I think is very important. So the mattes are more like satins, you know, they have a radiance to them. The shimmer in here is what is like all over my eyelid. It is the most fine pearly glitter. It is so beautiful, not chunky at all, and just leaves this really soft purpley wet effect. And then lastly, I gotta be honest here, I have not used this much. There is also this really cool milky eye gloss. It's like this milky purple. That's within this palette. But I'm really interested in some of the other color stories. But for me, I think that this is such a unique color story. It's very well thought out. It's natural, but also has this little bit of interest to it. This formula, I think, is definitely one that more people should be talking about. It is very pretty. So this year I tried out a bunch of Make Beauty. I have been impressed with a lot, but this has become a holy grail item for me, and I find it to be incredibly unique, and that is their eyebrow gel. Listen, before you tune out, because I understand like eyebrow gel isn't the sexiest product, this is different. A lot of eyebrow gels are so wet that when you put them in the eyebrows, it makes you look like you have less hair. Like it almost gives you that like 6th grade boy put in a bunch of gel in his hair kind of look, but like with your eyebrows. This is not that. Because of the wand and because the formula is so thin, it actually makes my eyebrows look bigger somehow. While setting them in place, there's a lot of fine, stiffer bristles to this that again really comb through all of my brow hairs, and I have thicker brow hairs, and then it sets them. It sets them into place. And sometimes throughout the day, I look at my makeup and I can't put my finger on what looks different or why I just don't look as awake or just something's missing. What I often find is my eyebrows have dropped. And so when your eyebrows drop, like your whole face drops. You know what I mean? And I personally find that when I'm using this, I get this more lifted effect. I can control the way I want to shape my eyebrows. And in general, they look fuller and they look healthier. So if I need to set my eyebrows and I can't find this, I will go looking for way too long to find this. But, you know, I still do it. Lastly, we have the NYX Duck Plumper. So this is the clear shade. The reason I wanted to call this product out to you all is that it is like a plumping lip gel. And it is very intense and very spicy, but somehow it doesn't make my lips very dry. Many lip plumpers are also in this kind of gloopy, sticky lip gloss texture, but this is, again, more of this lip gel. It's so interesting to me. I think what it's able to do is kind of sink into the lips to offer that tingle, but it's also very glassy, so you're still left with that big lip look. Can you guys see that texture? Like, I really just have not seen another lip plumper with this texture. By the way, it does smell kind of like spicy ginger, which I like. A lot of lip plumpers smell like crap. Like they smell so bad. This one just smells like very spicy ginger. I'm definitely a fan of this one. And those were all of my very unique makeup products that I wanted to share with you all today. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll also leave a link down below to my Amazon storefront if you guys want to check out the Clio cushion. It's a good one. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next one.